and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia,
I'm Sherry Ann.
and today we're joined by one of our certified Cancer Journey coaches.
I'm Leslie Purchase.
And so today we brought Leslie in, and we're going to be talking about the experience of when a loved one is diagnosed and how you're navigating that. But before we jump in, we're going to start with our PESH. So Sherry Ann, will you go first?
Yes, I will. Physically, I am a 3.8, emotionally 4.2, spirit 4.4, hope 4.5, and my word is interested.
Okay, my turn. Physically, I am a 4.25, emotionally a 4.5, spirit is a 4, and hope is a 4.15. And my word is connected.
Okay,
You
so
can jump in
physically I'm a 4. Emotionally, I'm a 5. And spirit and hope are 5s. And my word for right now is present.
Great. Well, welcome, Leslie. We're so excited to have you with us.
Thank you.
And we were talking about when a loved one is diagnosed with cancer, whether you're the caretaker or just a loved one or someone who's been through cancer themselves, you know, this journey can be really hard. And so when a loved one specifically is diagnosed, like what comes up for me initially is just like, I just want to give them everything they need. Like, I just want to like shower them with like, I'm here. I like whatever you need. If you need space, I'll give you space. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here to do that. If you want me to like wash your hair for you, let's go to the sink.
It's true. For me, it's like, let me just bring you closer. We needed something like that to initiate that love. I think that's what's coming up is the love. And that doesn't feel right to me. I kind of like just knowing that, life is short and unpredictable. So my heart just is like, okay, I just need to love and touch space with everybody that I love.
What comes up for you, Leslie?
Yeah, so for me, when a loved one is diagnosed with cancer, and what I see a lot with my clients, if when they're first diagnosed with cancer, is people really wanting to help, and it's a mixed bag sometimes. Sometimes people wanting to help is really about them soothing their own discomfort with the diagnosis, and sometimes people wanting to help is really about supporting the person who's just been diagnosed. So I would say, it's super helpful to just take a pause before you jump in and ask yourself, what am I doing here? Am I self-soothing by trying to make myself feel better, or am I really seeking to show this person that I want to support them? And I think it's a subtle difference, but it can be received a lot better if it comes from a place of like, I want to support you in the best way what that looks like for you. And very often that looks like, let me help you take away things that you don't have space for, so that you can create a little bit extra space in your life, because a cancer diagnosis takes up a lot of space in someone's life. And so just taking things off of their plate is often very helpful. It's so common where people say, what can I do? And that really puts the burden on the cancer patient to come up with a laundry list of things, which in that moment, all they can think about, well, very commonly, all they can think about is, I have cancer, I have cancer, I have cancer, just on loop in their heads. And so then coming up with ways that things that you can give to people so that they feel like they're helping, it can be an extra burden.
Yes. Oh, I love that point so much because honestly, I feel like at this point, we're all a little triggered by that question of like, well, like, tell me what you want to do and I'll do it. And it's like, okay, but can you just like use your eyes and your senses and like see and just choose something, please? Because it's a little, I already am going through a lot.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to be able to define what you want and another thing what you want someone else to do. It's like that feels like a you thing that you can figure out. I'll be so grateful if you could just figure that out. That's just your task. Just figure that out. I also love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah,
I
I
think
love the idea of that self-soothing too, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's really nice to kind of deputize that one friend who's really good at organizing people to be sort of the point person for everyone that wants to help, right? And then as things come up, you can just give that thing to the point person and let them kind of distribute it. I find that to be really helpful. I had some surgery this past year, and I had a friend who was in charge of all of the coordination of all the friends that wanted to help. And it was such a gift to be able to just rely on her to kind of run interference with all the well-meaning people in my life. And I, of course, welcomed the help, but I didn't have the bandwidth to coordinate it all.
I love that because when I was diagnosed, we had something called Share the Care group. And so there was a point person, or actually, I had two point people, and then they did everything because I just needed to be like uninvolved. I knew that I was going to go through this. It was too overwhelming, and yeah, I didn't want the responsibility. Truly, the responsibility of having to do any of it. I have an interesting a spin on this, though. I've had three friends who have been recently diagnosed with cancer. I love them, but they all live far away, and so unless I'm going to get on a plane to be there physically, it's like how do I help? Now, as a cancer journey coach, I can coach them, but all of a sudden, that inner critic is saying, is that enough? What?
Yeah. Well, what's
What do you
coming up
guys think?
naturally for you, Sherry? I'm just curious, like, what is here for you when you ask that? Like, what else can you do? What do you want to do without
Mhm.
asking them?
Right, right, right. Sending letters, love, of course. There's this company called, I don't know the name of the company, but they'll send soup, which I think is fabulous. Like, I know food is a big thing. Those are the things that come up for me. It's like I want to show them that I love them. Just like the point person would be that person because of the love.
When
Yeah.
my daughter was diagnosed with brain cancer, she was 2. And we obviously got a huge influx of people wanting to help. And a lot of them were far away because we were not living near our families, the places that we grew up in at that time. And at a certain point, I was in the hospital with her. She had 3 bone marrow transplants. So we spent a lot of time in the hospital. And I wasn't doing anything in the world. And I felt that like lack of doing good things in the world and being of service in the world. I was just stuck in this hospital. And so I put out a call to all my friends and family near and far saying, I'm feeling like I'm being taken away from the world. My request is for you to go and do good things in the world in honor of my daughter, and then send me a note telling me what you did. Like, go donate blood, go buy coffee for a stranger, and then let me know what you did. And it was just a way of feeling like there was still goodness happening in the world because of us, even without us being able to do it. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that family and friends can do from afar. Olivia got blood transfusions almost every other day. So asking friends to go donate blood in honor of her, or go get on the bone marrow transplant registry. There's so many things that people from afar can do, and you can do it just in honor of. I went and donated blood today because I know that you're going to need blood products. I think doing these good deeds out in the world and sending them to that person I'm inspiring to do this on your behalf can make people feel like, oh, there's still good happening in the world because I exist.
Yeah.
They're doing something,
Yeah.
right? We oftentimes want to do, and I think that's what felt like it was lacking. Yes, I can be there heart and soul over the phone, over Zoom, but what could I do? And I love that, doing good deeds in honor and letting them know. And it's like, then we have this conversation.
Yes.
It's like we're sharing, we're doing it together.
Yes. Yes. And, there's always something beautiful about that, when someone would write out a note, oh, I bought coffee for this person. And then we ended up talking, and it turns out he knew blah, blah, blah. And the whole story of it just felt so good to hear. It was like a guaranteed dose of good news at a time when good news was hard to come by. And so this sort of like manufacturing good news for the person that's going through a cancer journey can be a really powerful tool of
Yeah.
support.
And it's never just like senseless, like good news. It's like good news specifically for you, having you in mind. And I think along with what you're doing, Sherry, and thinking about like sending them letters, like it's not just the act that is impactful, but it's also like the reason behind it and the love that's behind it, that you chose to do that and made that active effort and choice to do it and to maintain that connection.
And there's no reason why I couldn't be a point person. If that's what I wanted to do, I could do it from afar. I mean, technology has helped a lot.
And I love the idea of a letter. I mean, emails and texts, they're so common, but sometimes they can feel a little bit overwhelming. But there's something about the slow pace of a letter that's really, you open it when you're ready to read it. That is really lovely. I love the idea of sending a letter to your friend.
Yeah. Handwritten, taking the time, like, it's so conscious. And I think that's what really, like, clicks for me is the consciousness of that connection because they're not asking you, "What can I do? I'm here if you need help." Right? It's like it's so much more than while that intent can have a lot of care behind it, it is kind of a throwaway question because it puts the onerousness on someone else. But by the intentional little pieces all come together with a much bigger impact and so much more like love and care. Like I feel like receiving a handwritten letter versus everything else I get in mail, like a bill or something. It's just that much more enjoyable and exciting and heartwarming. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I got like a fun letter in the mail.
Yeah,
It is uplift.
and I think when you are going to offer something, make it concrete. So I would like to make a lasagna for you next Tuesday. Does that work for you? And you can freeze it, or you know what I mean. If you are going to offer something, you know that you have a specialty, or you know that you can do. I can take your kids on Saturday for 2 hours in the morning, so you can get some rest. Does that work for you? I think if you are going to offer help, making it like specific and concrete, so someone can really say, actually, no, that Saturday doesn't work, but could you do it on Sunday? Kind of leading them to helping them figure out what's really useful and what's not.
Yeah. And it makes it more of a conversation too, rather than like, is it you or is it me? Who's figuring it out? It's like, let's
Yes.
figure it out together.
Right. Yeah, what just came up for me is how much the caregiver of the person who just got diagnosed, which is could be us or could be someone else, because I'm playing both sides here, in person and afar, that they're going through a lot, and let's not forget them or ourselves. So it's like, hey, there's me too. I need some of that help and that love, and also what can I do for somebody? Like it's a team effort, and I want to be part of the team, and I want to have a team.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, that when someone you love is diagnosed, it's really destabilizing for you as well. And so it's important for you as the caregiver or support person to find people also to support you that maybe aren't affiliated with this person or have a weaker connection, so that you can get what you need to in order to show up for the person well. I mean, so much of what we do as cancer coaches is to provide a safe space for people who are diagnosed to vent, because they don't necessarily feel safe to burden their loved ones with that. So, it just making sure that you as a caregiver or support person have your own support needs met, so that you can really be present and show up, so the person feels like they can share with you without destabilizing you. It's a really important point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was also thinking that, like, pulling back a little bit back to the self-regulating that we were talking about earlier, and I think that feeds perfectly into what you're saying of, like, both the cancer patient and the care team, or just the team of people who love them, need somewhere to put that. Because, like, this overarching idea of, like, cancer, it tends to be the elephant in the room, right? It tends to be what we're all avoiding, but we're all terrified about. So, like, even just putting ourselves in that space, especially now sharing, you know people who just got diagnosed, and it gets really fresh. That feeling of fear, and a lot of times people would say they feel guilty during this time, or there are so many emotions that come up. But with our cancer coaches, we train them so that they're not only to show up there to show up for the patient and the emotional journey of the patient, but for the care team as well. I mean, we know that oftentimes caregivers and the family and friends and just the loved ones of the person who is diagnosed are kind of the unsung heroes. They come through time and time again, and to be able to figure out what actions are self-soothing and what are really in service of everyone. Sometimes it takes a coach because not everyone can do that on their own and process that on their own. And it is not the cancer patient who's going to be leading that charge.
So you end up having this space where the cancer patient doesn't want to share with their family what's going on, and the family members don't want to share with the burden their cancer patients, and everybody is sort of suffering separately together. And yeah, it's really important that both the cancer patients and the cancer caregivers and the support team all find outlets for allowing them to express what's going on and to be real and to let some of that out.
Absolutely. And my experience is that the caregiver and even me, and not that my parents have a illness, but they're old, and I find that it's like, no, no, I got it, the armoring up, the martyring, and it's like, I'll take care of it, instead of realizing that I'm part of the mix, right? That the caregiver is part of the mix, and you need to take care of yourself. And I know we all hear this, but it's not the easiest thing to do, because your beloved is going through something that you can't take away and you can't control.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think comparative suffering is real, right? There's this idea, the story in your head is, even though it's really hard to take care of this, I'm not the one going through it. At least I don't have fill in the blank, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, and I think what we find is that this idea of comparative suffering doesn't really help anyone. No, nobody, nobody has ever felt better because someone else feels less bad. you know, it just really prevents us from taking the support and the time and the care that we need to fill ourselves up so that we can give from a place of overflow rather than from a place of scarcity. Then, if there's one thing I wish all the caregivers of cancer patients could understand, it is that you will be a much more effective caregiver if you take the time to support yourself, because giving from a place of emptiness, it's not as effective as you think it is.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. What you just said, I mean, just I just flashed into this new space of, what if when somebody finds themselves as the patient or a caregiver, it is the opportunity to overfill, like for everybody to just like, okay, we need to overnourish everybody. And and that's and then it becomes a lifestyle, hopefully. But it's like, oh my God, okay, somebody just got sick. Let's overnourish them. Yes, I'm going to make you fabulous chicken soup. I'm also going to make one that nourishes me. Is it chicken soup? Is it whatever? It's like, I get it. So one for you, one for me, one for you, one for. And it's like, oh my goodness, what if that was the paradigm? That was the way that it was.
Yeah, there's this phrase in philosophy that says things are urgent, we must slow down. And I think that really has a lot to say about a new cancer diagnosis. There is this urgency and this fear and this turmoil of new diagnosis emotions. And to really just slow down and ask, what do I need? What will be supportive in this moment is a really powerful and sort of like subversive idea in this culture.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think that in general, we don't often take care of ourselves, like very, very general. And so this is kind of why in some ways we celebrate cancer and being that wake up call. It is sometimes unfortunate that we need it to be the wake up call for us, but it does put us in a place with other people who have experienced cancer in their lives that know, like, it's that really fresh reminder of like, this is one life. Not only do I want to show up for someone else on their journey, but I need to show up for myself and mine. And I need to be able to take care of what's going on here, like, really cannot fill from an empty cup. And when it's someone that you love deeply, it's not, I have to take care of me, I have to take care of you, and they have to remain separate. It can be something that you do in tandem, and it becomes tandem healing. You can walk hand in hand with them instead of feeling like you need to build a wall and separate.
I love that. I just got this flash of, hey, we both need foot massages. Let's go. And so we're both there, being nourished, relaxing, getting fed, having, there's something very, yes, healing about foot massages, but there's like that touch, and it's not, and somebody else is doing it to you and for you. It's not, I'm efforting, but we both get to be fed. That's just a thought, an idea that came to my head. It's like, let's both at the same time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. Let's take care of ourselves together. And it's also modeling for the cancer patient. It's okay for you to slow down and take care of yourself.
Yeah. I feel like we're talking about so many instances where like you are actively engaging because because we're in this world and we are these kinds of people who like actively engage. I also know that a lot of people on their cancer journey, some people, they fall away. And a lot of people, even though they love that person dearly, there's so much going on for them that they feel like they can't show up. So, like, my question, because, well, I might have a response. I feel like I want to pitch that question of like, for those that are in that place where almost like the windows get shuttered for them, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think this happens quite a bit. People who are diagnosed with cancer are surprised by who shows up and are surprised by who falls away. And I think the important thing is, as the cancer patient, is not to take it personally. It's truly about what that person can hold. And not everybody can hold the fear and the worry about someone who's been diagnosed. And if you're that person that feels like I just can't show up in the way that I should, and so I'm just not going to do anything, I would say that, even the small things make a big difference. So you don't have to take someone to every single chemo appointment in order to be an effective friend. Taking them to go get a foot massage, just sending them a text saying, "Hey, I love you," just on a Tuesday. Those tiny things go really, really far in feeling like support. And then I would say, like, welcome the people that you didn't expect to show up and that show up deeply. One of the, we talk about, I would never call cancer a gift, and I don't wish it on anyone. And yet, even with cancer, there can be gifts in your life. There can still be joy and delight and surprise, which is one of the most interesting things about a cancer diagnosis, is that when people are diagnosed with cancer, they think life will always be bad now. And it's like when you're planning a trip to Disney World, you think it's going to be amazing. And so on a Tuesday when everybody's cranky and tired from standing in line, you're like, what the heck? We're in Disneyland. Why is everyone not happy? Well, the same thing happens in the opposite way with cancer. You get a cancer diagnosis and you expect nothing but terrible emotions for the foreseeable future, and then you get this unexpected delight. Somebody in the radiology suite is just the funniest, kindest person you've ever met. There's this moment of great tenderness from a doctor or a nurse. So there are these unexpected delights that, because you're totally not expecting them, end up becoming that much brighter in your life. And so for the surprise people that show up, embrace them as your allies. You take that in, allow yourself to really receive from the people that are able and willing to show up and support.
I love that. Oh, wow. I feel like I've never even really thought about like when cancer comes into your life, like all you think is everything's gonna be bad from that point forward. That's which is so true. I've never put that into words. So I love.
It's one of the first things that I talk to people about when they're newly diagnosed and they're in that, like, just full body trauma fear response, is that, yes, it feels really scary right now, and I promise there's going to be something beautiful really soon. And when you get that moment of beauty, recognize that, okay, this is going to be okay. However this unfolds, there will still be moments of joy. There will still be moments of delight and happiness and love. That all of those things continue after a cancer diagnosis, just like fatigue and tiredness and annoyance continue in Disneyland. It's just part of being a human. We always have access to the full expression of human emotion, whatever we're doing.
I love that reminder. It's a great reminder when that person is there feeling like that their body has been whacked and they're just taken down their spirit, and the emotions are just like doom and dread. And when you could just say, and I promise you, there will be still joy, still fun, still laughter, still connection. I mean, we do think, oh, here I go. It's going to be this dark, dank road, and it's going to hurt a whole hell of a lot, and boo. But yeah, and that's there. But we forget, yes, that life doesn't stop. That's the thing. We're living while we're going through this journey, and so all of the beauty of life is still there. And I think this isn't about balloons and flowers, but it is about closeness and connection. I know that I can't be there for the people who I love that have been diagnosed. And I want to send them like my heart, and I can. I can send a representation of my heart, and they can put it on their heart, or they can hold it. And that feels joyful. Or I don't know, we can FaceTime a silly show together, which sounds like a lot of fun.
You know,
And Cheyenne, is that your takeaway, or do you have more to add?
Well, I think that when going back to the topic of when a loved one is diagnosed with cancer, you just get to love them more. And if you're one of those who are triggered and it's like, I can't, then you just can do it from afar, like I am now. You could still participate if you want to with just a Tuesday I love you text. I love that. And my pesh is, you know how these things just kind of lift you in the inner workings, and it has such an impact on the outer. So my physical now is 4 to 5. My emotional is 4 5. Spirit is 4.8, and hope is 4.75. And my word is lifted.
Thank you. I'm going to do a quick takeaway. So my takeaway is that, yeah, that there is this like elephant of the room when there's cancer here for everyone. And that unspoken expectation of it's all going to be bad. It's all the pit here, which we know not to be true. And so when you have support to help you lift and just understand what those things are, or help you find a way to better express a lot of that anger or sadness, or those things that you feel like you're scared to lash out at the people around you, or that it's going to be part of your connection with them, you can then release them and then show up more fully with those that you love and walk hand in hand with them through this journey, and feel like you can from a place of authenticity, but also like feeling powerfully that you're making a difference and an impact in this journey that they're on as well. And then my pesh is physically, I am a 4.2, emotionally a 4.6, spirit is a 4.4, and hope is a 4.25, and my word is love.
Can I share one ritual that I think is really a sweet thing for when someone is newly diagnosed? This is a ritual that Rachel Naomi Remen developed. She's a physician and works at the Commonweal Cancer Center. Developed that, and so it's a stone ceremony. And so you gather a group of your close friends, and everyone sits in a circle, and you have a stone, or it could be a crystal, something that's kind of small and fits in the palm of your hand. And everyone goes around the circle and spends the moment saying, a difficult time in my life. And so maybe that looks like, a difficult time in my life was when I was going through a divorce. And then you add what got you through. And what got me through was a sense of humor. And then you imbue the stone with that trait that got you through the difficult time in your life. And it goes through the whole group. And at the end, the stone is gifted to the person with cancer. And this can be a really powerful ceremony. And I've had people take their stones into the OR, like taping it to the bottom of their feet or taking them to chemo or radiation. It's a way of taking your circle of support with you into the hospital. And it's a way of reminding the person that, other people have gone through challenging things and have come through on the other side. It's such a hopeful and beautiful way that a group of friends can be supportive of someone who is newly diagnosed. And my takeaway is for the people that are trying to support someone who's been newly diagnosed is to, first pause and figure out, what do you need in order to best support? And then even the small things make a big difference for someone who's going through a cancer journey. And my pesh is 5s across the board. I feel uplifted by our conversation, and my word is gratitude. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you so much, Leslie, for being here.
We love having you. Is there something that you have that you'd like to share with the audience?
Sure. So people can find me at lotushealingmarin.com. I offer cancer coaching and cacao ceremonies, and I lead that ritual that I talked about as well.
Great. Well, if you want to hear more from Leslie and more from us too, you can use the link in the description to give us your email, and we'll send along a free guided meditation for signing up and listening to this podcast. But we'll see you next week with a new episode.
Thank you for joining us. Have a lovely rest of your day. And remember, you're more powerful than you realize.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie.
You guys.